Hello. Hi, everyone. I'm glad to see you. Welcome to my live today. My name is Lady Winnie Allison. I live in the U.S. I am Ugandan by birth. I'm here today to give you a few security alerts, some things that are being planned by Museveni's government. Obviously, his plans are never good for Uganda. Right now, I have some security alerts from the State House and some other places, but I'd like to share with you. So, since the election, as you might know, it has been very difficult for Museveni to act the right way. Despite winning the election, he's still hunting Bobi Wine. His home is still under siege. The military and police are still residing there almost permanently since the 15th of January. Today is the 5th of February. So I call upon everyone concerned, anybody who can tag the UN, anybody who can tag ICC. We call upon our brothers and sisters in Congo, Kenya, Tanzania, all those neighboring countries, Burundi, because what happens in Uganda, especially Kenya, that's your future. What is happening in Uganda right now is in Kenya's near future. So my Kenyan brothers and sisters, please come on board. Let us share our tactics now to help you save your future later, because it's not going to be good. Museveni has infiltrated his fangs into Kenya. So come on, let's work together. Let's get this family out of East Africa entirely. Okay? So Museveni has some very, very, very big plans. Despite him trying to swear in now, he is also planning a transition of power in his own preference. So when I speak of transition of power, he doesn't mean a transition for Uganda or as a nation as we wish. No. The transition of power still in Museveni's mind is supposed to be by him, through him, with him, and his family. So here are some of the details. So what they're planning on, before I get to the transition, let me give you a security alert right now because it's very urgent and we may need to know quickly so we can spread the word and get it out there. Museveni plans on a big terrorist attack, not a terrorist attack that's organized by Damulira, Kaihura, Salim Saleh, and Muhozi. They plan on attacking Parliament in broad daylight during a parliamentary sitting, a debate. They're going to use the gangs. As you people know, Kaihura, Damulira, they work with a lot of gangs that are in the ghetto. They have, in fact, they pay some of them. Many of you know of this this guy who's Fangon group or whatever. They're going to use such a group of people. They have them organized already. What they'd like to do is to have these people armed with bombs, guns, and all types of ammunition to get into parliament during a parliamentary sitting. They actually want to do this while the old parliament is still sitting, because remember, many MPs that were elected this time were elected as interest MPs for Museveni. Most of them are Rwandese Kabano. You will see people like Hildeman, Dr. Hildeman. He actually won the election, but the win was given to Amelia Chambade. In Waiswa in Nakawa, Waiswa Mufumbiro won the election, but the win was given to Ruhindi. I think he has both names. I do remember when I lived in Nakawa, Ruhindi was a member of parliament then. And that was, I would say, I came to the US maybe 20 years ago. And so he's back by assignment. Because remember, even in Kabano, there are actual names of people in their policies or bylaws, whatever runs the structure of the Kabano, the Rwandese community organization. They actually do have names in those books that they've written or bylaws that include names like Vesije, Besigye is staying in the opposition to keep Museveni relevant, to keep the opposition looking like it is real. And yet, he is working alongside Museveni, so Museveni looks like he's democratic. The other person that is in there is the Ruhindi family. They are listed in the Kabano, actually. One of these days, I will start over and I'll bring the history of the Kabano group. They are all over the world. They're cast everywhere. They're like a dark web. They're cast everywhere. They meet often. They decide on new routes or changes. They decide on acts. They add new people. They update things. They're now putting their future where their mouth is. Their children and grandchildren are starting to line up and take position. So they're called the Kabano in the Bahima dynasty. So let's call on CNN, Larry Madowo, anybody tag him, tag whoever you can tag, because these facts, this is going to be something that's going to happen in the near future. Okay? The attack on Parliament of Uganda, today is February the 5th, 2026. Museveni and son, Muhoozi, Salim Saleh, Kaihura, and Damulira are planning an attack on the Parliament of Uganda with the previous parliamentarians, the ones who exist until the new elected MPs take over, while in session during a debate, to make sure that most of those MPs are killed, especially the NRM ones, because this time Museveni has his own people that are going to help him transition, as he plans in his mind to transition into an impeachment and later on have his brother take over. Well, his brother is still not a final decision. Okay, so tag anybody you can tag, because this is vital. It is serious. It is important. It needs to be shared widely, because we do not want to lose our MPs. The MPs that will be in session probably around the time that this happens may be Ugandan MPs. So let's make sure this doesn't happen, okay? The attack on Parliament will be using ghetto gangs and rebel groups from Congo. When they do attack, these will be youths who will seem like people who elected Chagulanyi, okay? They're choosing people who look like His Excellency Chagulanyi's supporters. Remember, we are the youth, we are the young people, we are the change wanters, we are the people who are not in the system, we are the people who are not working with the government currently. So he wants to use people who look like us, so that he can easily brand internationally to the Western world that indeed NUP, or National Unity Platform, does have terrorists, or is made of a terrorist organization, okay? So the attack will be during a seating or a debate. It'll be a full house, okay? He wants to kill majority of NRM figures because he can easily replace them with Rundi's people. He also would like to kill and make sure that Joel Senyonyi will be in the house when this happens, because he wants Joel Senyonyi out of the picture. So be sure that when he attempts to do something like this, he could set up the drivers or the security team of Joel Senyonyi to be involved, or to be part of the scheme, such that they get him there for him to perform his dirty deed. So anybody that can get this word out, let's be vigilant. We have, relatives and friends, legitimate Ugandans who are in this parliament, some duly elected, some, he may have cheated for them to win the election, but this is time for him to offload people that he does not want to continue into his future, or his grandchildren or children's future. So please be vigilant. The other thing is, when these gangs and rebels, or the group from the rebel group from Congo, when they come into parliament, in the middle of them causing the ruckus or doing whatever they're doing, he would like for them to, they're going to be chanting, people power, our power. They're going to be chanting, Chagulanyi is our president. We want our win. They're also going to say things like, we want Chagulanyi in Entebbe, Muntebbe. They want their victory. And the other thing that is going to be implicating the Muslim community in Uganda, he has trained these people to say Allahu Akbar. It is, I'm not saying it right, because I'm sorry if I've butchered it, but He wants them to also say Allahu Akbar, because he's implicating the two groups, Muslims in Uganda and nyooo as a party, because his goal is to brand nyooo a terrorist organization. What they would like to do with this event is to make sure that nyooo offices will close, which I'll get to that, how that will happen. He would like the nyooo offices to be closed, all of the branches all over the country to be closed by this event. But I'll get to that. Get this. He wants to use, there will be some Muslims, obviously, because, you know, in the ghetto, we have everyone living there. Christians, Muslims, just about any youth that can be, they're in the ghetto. So he wants to use those words appropriately so that he can reference and say, you see, we told you nyooo is a terrorist organization. You see, the Muslim community, then they'll go into the Muslim community and start picking them up. Sheikh Kitty, anybody who's, you know, loud and proud and speaking about change and all of that, he's going to pick them up with the defense of what was said during the killing of parliamentarians in this event. Okay? He also would like the speaker dead. If you have heard Mao, Honorable Mao, coming up and saying, you know, I'm going to run against Speaker Anita Among, God knows Anita Among has been in Museveni's pockets. We may not even like her, but she's Ugandan. It is time for Museveni to offload somebody like Anita, because Anita has done so many dirty deeds for Museveni. Okay? So, in some faith, find it somewhere, you know, if she could get informed. I know Mao is coming to run against her. This makes total sense, because somebody from these people's family has seconded Mao or told Mao a secret that Mao could possibly be the member of parliament next. Because with Mao knowing that he can edge alongside or against Anita Among, he's got to have somebody pulling his strings. And I'm suspecting that it's coming from this house, the state house that runs Uganda now, that he feels he has the boost to actually come out and do this publicly and run against Anita Among. Who knew that Anita Among would ever feel less than powerful? Okay, she has, I mean, she walks on dust, all right? So this makes total sense, because they think Anita Among will be killed in this event. So tag Honorable Speaker Anita Among of the Parliament of Uganda that in this scheme, her name appears as one of the deceased in their future. Okay? And hence, Mao coming up and saying he's going to run for Speaker of Parliament. You've heard Tayeba is quiet, which would have been normal that the Deputy Speaker becomes Speaker. Like when the late Jacob Alanya passed, Anita, who was the Deputy Speaker, came on to Speaker position. Tayeba took over. But why isn't that happening? Because Tayeba is their own. Okay? So it is time to protect our own. And I don't know if that makes sense. She has done so many things. I don't know. I leave that to you. Okay? So the killers, whoever will be sent, these guys from the gangs or of the ghetto, and the ones who are coming, which I'm assuming will be the ADF, because remember when when they claimed ADF attacked Kasese or whatever, they claimed the leader of the ADF was Muslim. Museveni's goal is to break down the Muslim community. And I know why, because he believes that the way the Muslim community exists, by nature of being Islam, there are practices that are very rooting in Islam. The marriages of several women, the children, several children, okay? They're rooted in places that, you know, and that in a way is a sense of being wealthy, because if you have children here and there, if you have 20 children and you have 5 doctors and you have 5 farmers and you have 10 so-and-so, you are deeply rooted, okay? So that is why Museveni constantly attacks Islamic community, because he wants to break the chain, break them down, not give them any power to root further in the country, okay? So I know. I've seen a message saying Anita Among has killed so many. I know. I said, do what you would like with my message here. Okay? You know, I do what you will with it. I'm just saying. You never know. Maybe Anita Among can join us and tell us the facts. Maybe she will cross over and give us all of the secrets, or you know, she could be a witness in a major court, for example, in the ICC. You just never know. She can use the message as she wishes. She may even feel like it's useless. But hey, this is what they're planning, and that's what I'm here for. My goal is to tell you what it is. Okay, Mukwano, Miriam, I know what it means. I know what it. I trust me. I'm with you on that. Let's just. I hope maybe she'll come out and tell us what they were doing with this man. Maybe not. Okay, so it is said that there are thousands of Muslims in prisons. Thousands. In fact, they say when it's time for prayers, some prisons look like a mosque because everybody falls in line like the Islam pray. Everybody faces where they should face. And then the prayers begin and everybody falls in line. Everything is done in uniform. It looks like a mosque in the prisons. Some of them. And to tell you how humiliating or belittling these people are, okay? These people are dark-hearted people. They actually feed, every prisoner who is Muslim is fed pork as a matter of just destroying their being, their spirit, what they're made up of. The only thing they don't do, Museveni makes them do. They are fed pork and they're told that they're being fed pork. They have nothing to do about it. In fact, you know what? You want to hear something funny? When the Muslim clerics, okay, let's say it's we are fasting, or the Muslims are fasting Ramadan, 30 days or whatever, after the fasting period, the Muslim leaders are invited to State House in Uganda. Museveni invites them to come and break their big fast. Do you know what they're fed at that event? They are fed pork. So any of the religious leaders, Muslim leaders who have been to State House to go and break a major fast, which is respectably, you know, I don't know any practice that is so sacred like fasting for 30 days. I respect you, my Muslim brothers and sisters. I respect you for that. Most people can't do it, but you have the discipline to do it. But just imagine, after that, you go to visit Museveni in a big conference, or all of you, all the Muslim leaders, you have special invitations. Come to State House. It's going to be the breaking of a fast for several Muslim leaders. You know, you can bring a +1 or plus whomever to the event, and then you are fed pork. And they go back into their house, the White House or the State House, and laugh about it. So many humiliating acts like these happen on a day-to-day. When they have people held, when they have people imprisoned. I'm going to give you at the end of this a torture experience that I got yesterday, and I could hardly sleep. Until today, it is in me. But I am strengthened and I'm empowered to even do what I'm doing more because of what these people do to our people. Therefore, they must go. So, continuing with the terrorist plan. So the killers who are going to go into parliament, the ghetto youth that they have, and the rebels from Congo, which I'm assuming is ADF or M23, are going to attack the parliament. After the attack and all of that, over 200 MPs, they want to be killed. Obviously, Joel Senyonyi, obviously, Anita Among. They therefore have been told to run into there's a new wing of parliament that was built recently. They've asked them to run into that place because that will be their getaway plan. In the getaway plan, they're supposed to find UPDF uniforms there that they will eventually put on. And in the scramble to rescue people here and there, those clothes are not going to be there. So essentially, these people do not know their future. So if you're watching me and you're part of the group that is going to the State House, the future they have given you about the exit plan is not true. Matter of fact, they wish that you people, or they are going to, get rid of you people. A few of you will survive because they also want a testimony on camera to the Western world to show them that indeed NOOP is a terrorist organization, because the chants are going to say, we want our victory. Our president is Kyagulanyi Ssentamu. We want to go to Ntebe Muntebe. Things like that are going to be what they're saying. And one last thing is going to be Allah Akbar, because they want to implicate two groups in Uganda. Okay? So they're not going to find their clothes. Some of them will get killed. Okay? And some of them will be gotten in the getaway car. The getaway car that will remain there, that will not be used because some of them are killed, will be used to rescue members of parliament who have survived or are injured or whatever the case may be. They will arrest and kill some of the actors, the bad actors of this event. Okay? Then after that, Museveni will call a state of emergency in the country Uganda. Obviously, with such an attack, a grave attack on several legislators, he will then call a state of emergency. A national holiday will be started officially from the date of that killing. Okay? On that morning of. And they will not bury those MPs right away. The goal is to bury them in a large, a mass grave, and make a site, and make it a memorial site of the members of parliament of Uganda who died on this day and this period. We remember them, and he'll make it a tourist site, make it an official site where people will visit and say, oh my goodness, the rest of the world, CNN, Larry, please come and watch, Larry Madowo from Kenya, from CNN. All these things are going to be happening as they have planned them, according to them. Now, that doesn't mean, because now I've said it, they still might continue. They could continue it, or they may adjust it, or they may altogether throw it out, which I'm hoping that is thrown out, because we have several people in our parliament that we hope something like this does not happen. But you just never know. These people are sick in their head. The things they do to people are limitless. Wait until I tell you what they do for one of the torture victims that I got to speak with, that I got information from. You'll just wait. Just wait. So once he has commemorated the area, they will gazette them and locate it and make it a tourist organization site. A tourist site, and for international media to make it official that several Ugandans were killed by Muslims and NOOP terrorist organizations. Therefore, Uganda is now in a state of emergency. The remaining killers will be assembled before court. They'll be brought to court almost daily, like they do with NOOP members or NOOP political prisoners. You see how they bring them, and then they'll say, oh, the judge went to the bathroom. We can't continue the case. The case is adjourned. Then they'll bring them again until, the next week and say, oh, something happened. We're out of printing paper or whatever. Then they're adjourned. They're taken back to prison for another month. Oh, the judge, the attorney general did not show up. The state didn't show up. Then again, just so they make it look like they're doing something. But really, they're not. They're not. The goal is to have these people seen in the media that Museveni is actually doing something, okay? It'll be a waste of time for a period of time. Then they'll sentence them. Obviously, sentencing them does not mean it is official and it's going to stick. They will be sentenced because they've been promised a life after that. They probably will get out from the back door. As you've seen, a lot of these things happen people who you expect to be in prison are free. Those who are not supposed to be in prison are in prison, like new political prisoners. They're not supposed to be there. They have not committed a crime, but they're in there because the dictator says so. Okay? So they'll attract a lot of media, and eventually their goal is to stop multi-party politics in Uganda. The goal of the attack on the parliament of Uganda is to brand nyooo, a terrorist organization, okay, is to kill a lot of Ugandan legislators, because Museveni has his own people now, and also to stop multi-party politics, because they want to make sure nyooo does not exist, because nyooo has been something that has given Museveni so much headache, because nyooo is legitimate. When you think of the other parties, and I know a lot of people have said, you know, I don't like FDC, or I'm not in support. I don't support Besigye because I am privy to some information from the Kabano and the group, because Besigye is listed. I don't know how somebody like Besigye and Mugisha Muntu, who were with Museveni in the bush, okay, are not more terrorizing or do not cause Museveni so much fear compared to Honorable His Excellency Kyagulanyi Ssentamu. It does not make sense. In essence, if this were true, okay, if Besigye was real, if Mugisha Muntu was real, they would be the biggest fear to Museveni, because they know all of his tactics, because they were with him in the bush, because they would fight Museveni with his own tricks. But no, he's every effort to end multi-party politics has been leaned toward His Excellency Kyagulanyi Ssentamu. It is no wonder his home to date, despite Museveni giving himself a win, he's still searching for the second guy. Okay, if you won fairly and squarely, why are you worried about the rest? Why aren't the rest of the other presidential candidates' homes not in carnage like His Excellency Kyagulanyi Ssentamu's home? Why? It does not make sense. Let's think and let's add these things together, because, you know, they think we're foolish. They think we don't know what they're doing, but none of it makes sense when you look at it. Museveni has fooled us so long, especially our parents and the people who brought him into power. But the young ones now, we're questioning, we're thinking, we're researching. We're like, wait a minute, why does this look like this? How come Museveni can feel free with an opponent like Besigye, who was his doctor in the bush? Besigye, who was in the bush with him. Mugisha Muntu was in the bush with Museveni, but he poses no threat to Museveni. After losing elections, he's free. Okay, why then is Museveni chasing around His Excellency Bobi Wine? The truth is, Bobi Wine won the election by 71% of the Ugandan election that ended on the 15th. Okay, that's why he's trying to fight him. I'm going to talk about another security alert. So the security alert about the parliament attack is complete. The next one is about transition of power. According to Museveni, this is not what we think as Ugandans. It's not what we want. We want change. We want Museveni out with his family, out of Uganda. But they, as you know, the slogan says, protecting the gains. They are protecting their future, their children, their grandchildren, and great-grandchildren. In efforts to do that, here is what they also plan to do, okay? Museveni is planning his version of peaceful transfer of power. How is that so? They're in the State House. In fact, this is an urgent security alert because I just got it. This has to do with him thinking of what they're going to do and who takes over now or next after Museveni. Here's how the breakdown happens. Museveni and the family are sitting together right now. His Museveni, his son, Salim Saleh, his wife, his daughter, his son-in-law, brother-in-law, and wife. Okay? The plan is that you remember the tweet that Muhoozi made a day or so ago, where he says that he's not the Messiah, or he's not the Messiah, but he is the voice that is coming out of the wilderness that is going to announce the next Messiah. And in reference, he talks about his uncle Salim Saleh. There's been a big shift whereby Salim Saleh has almost exited Gulu. I know that he has a residence there, but he's back and forth now because he sees this slipping. This thing is slipping from their hands, and so they want to hold it back and tuck it in together as they feel they should. Okay? So that tweet meant to say that Muhoozi now is off the path to becoming the president after his father. Please tag anywhere you can. Tag the ICC, tag Robert Amsterdam, tag the UN, tag anybody you can tag, because this needs to go out. They're planning a transition that will look appropriate and proper. Okay? They're planning to, the way Museveni wants to do this is, while they remain in power in the background, as they are now, Muhoozi will not be in the running to becoming the next president in 2031. That's according to them. But this has been moved even closer. They've seen that Museveni is weaker and may not handle the pressure. Museveni himself is afraid of nations like the US, like the scenario with Maduro, that may come up and pick him up. You know, he thinks Trump might show up or send somebody to go and pick him up. In the meantime, they have moved the goalpost. They've moved this to even closer a date than they had proposed for 2031. What they'd like to do, as you know, Museveni has picked members of parliament that are his right now that will join the transition, the new parliament that's coming up. Okay? And because most of them are Rwandese MPs and the opposition right now are compromised, a lot of opposition members have been given some type of bribe, some type of funding to get them off staying opposition or to dial down their voice about being in the opposition. Okay? So they are very compromised, but Museveni has picked his own people. As you know, you've seen some historicals come back to take up positions in parliament. Like Lutamaguzi in Luero won fairly and squarely, but they gave, that seat was given to Tumukunde's son. Tumukunde is also a member of parliament in another region. Ruhindi in Nakawa is back in the game. He's now elect member of parliament, even though Waiswa Mufumbiro, who is in prison, won the election. The other person is Dr. Hildeman in Kampala. He won the election, but it was given to, what's her name? Amelia Chambade. Amelia is, all these people are Rwandese. So they're now pitching camp everywhere to secure the transition that they think they're going to get into. Okay? So what they would like to do is, when that thing happens in parliament, according to them, and, you know, the commemoration happens, multi-party politics is banned, the new parliament takes over, that's all his people. They want to make amendments in the new parliament. Listen to these amendments. They want to make all presidential elections only at parliament level. That means the grassroots will no longer elect their president. Let's just say if the parliament has, let's say, 70% the party of Museveni, or whoever that person will be at the time, whether it's Salim Saleh or whomever, that party, that parliament will always elect only the Rwandese people because they will make the numbers. when they are more than 50, they can vote and pass anything they would like. Remember, they have already, with this event, they're going to ban multi-party politics, and also they're going to close all new offices. That will mean the opposition will be almost depleted. That means they will pass anything that they wish, especially passing bills that support them. So after the presidents will be elected in parliament, they also want to pass a bill that will create immunity of the previous president. Essentially, Museveni wants to go scot-free. Because once it passes that the president, a sitting president, has immunity, that will mean that all the crimes Museveni committed are clean. He's back on a clean slate. All of you that have anything to go to court about, no longer useful. He's free. He cannot be charged. He can do whatever he wants. He can be back. He can, everything that he has done to that date, that impeachment goes into the files, into the books. Museveni has no crime, which we hope that will not happen. Eventually, they'll table a bill to impeach Museveni. This is something that Museveni wants because he feels tired. As an old man, his faculties are failing. His physical ability, his mental ability, he's a brilliant man. All of that is starting to fail, as nature would have it. Because of those things, when the impeachment comes into parliament and they table that bill, which they're hoping at the time, there will be such a speaker of parliament, maybe Mao, maybe somebody else. Mao could be just next in target. Honorable Mao could be next in target. After Anita Mong, he would also be taken out. Then guess who rises to their position as they wish? The deputy speaker, Tayeba. It is possible that that's where it's going. But for now, they will table the impeachment and they'll discuss it in parliament. They'll debate on it on the floor of parliament. And then Museveni will accept it and sign it and say, okay, you can impeach me. With that said, then they will elect his with the members in parliament who are his people. After the impeachment, they will transfer power to somebody else from his family. Now, that is what the big fight is about tonight in State House. The big fight is about who then becomes next after Museveni. The propositions are Salim Saleh, the brother of Museveni. Like I said, this is a family cabal, and they feel like it has to rotate around there. So they're proposing Salim Saleh. Obviously, that is seconded strongly by Muhoozi, who knows he doesn't have that seat anymore. The next possible person is the daughter, Natasha. And they're thinking a first female president will sound good internationally because it'll be a big change for Uganda. And it will help, sort of block focus on Ugandan politics, block focus on Museveni. Hopefully cause a lot of the international community to say, oh my goodness, look, Uganda has a female president. Lots of women or supporters of female presidents, those non-governmental organizations will say, look what they've done. This is great. That country finally, after a dictator, has their first female president. Even if that female president truly is the daughter of the dictator, which makes absolutely no difference. We don't want this family in Uganda. We don't care. We don't care if it's a male, a female, a horse, a donkey, a chicken, nothing from this last family, okay? We're done with them. So anyway, those are the propositions they have. Also, Rawogo, who is the husband of Natasha. Think about that. Husband and wife, they lay in the same bed, are fighting for this position. Wife is the daughter of the president, of the dictator, wants to be the president. Husband says, well, wait, I want to be president too. Okay, so Rawogo is in the is in discussions about it. He wants to be. And therefore, that's causing a lot of fighting or infighting within that family. You know, we hope that at some point, this comes to an end. The whole thing, the whole family, relatives, friends, and family, we want them out of there. We are done with this family. As I promised you, I'm going to describe a scenario, a torture scenario. I've already filed this with the ICC. I've submitted my contribution online. I'll show you the video. Give me just a second. Let me show you. I'm sorry. I will have to post it later, but I'm going to speak about it because it's on this phone that I'm actually doing the live on. One of the escapees from a torture chamber, a safe house, recently spoke. And what he said is appalling. Like I said, the goal of these Rwandese people that torture Ugandans, their goal is to dehumanize you such that when you come out or leave the jails or the safe houses, you have no dignity. You can't even think of yourself as Mrs. or Sir or whatever. You have lost the humanness that you would be as a person. I'm going to describe something. If you have children around, please have them go somewhere. If your heart cannot take a very graphic scene, you can take a break and just go offline for a little bit. But think about this. I know that most Ugandans have seen, or even if you haven't seen physically, you know how a calf, that's a baby cow, feeds from the mother's, I will say, nipple, okay? You know how a baby calf, especially young, very, very young, goes on to latch onto mommy's nipple, one of them, to get milk in a very, like a suctioning process, okay? In the torture chambers, they have calves in some of them. So they'll bring a calf and they have a prisoner. This prisoner will be tied down, a male prisoner, okay? Let me be specific. It'll be a male prisoner, tied down, hands tied down, legs tied spread, no clothes on. One leg to the right, one leg to the left, spread to about how you, I'd say about, about 90 degrees. Let's say 90 degrees. Legs spread wide, okay? Now, anybody who knows a cow, calf, horse, their tongue is coarse. It's like steel wire, okay? The tongue is very coarse, like steel wire, because I think it's good for grinding down the grass when they eat. When cows eat or grass, it helps them kind of soften or munch on something. This gentleman describes what happened. I'm shaking from doing this. He describes how they're treated. So legs apart. God help me go through this. Tied down. These Muhozi people, there's like 30 or 40 military men sitting in front of these people watching. They bring 2 people at a time. These are NUP members or NUP supporters or people who are anti-government, not in any dangerous way, just not supporting them. Could be anyone around. They bring the 2 prisoners, they're 2 by 2s, stand them, legs apart, hands apart, all tied down. They bring a baby calf, a baby cow, maybe a few days old, hungry. This prisoner is undressed. And what they're trying to do is extract information from the prisoner. They keep saying, tell us, tell us. What do they do? What's the next event? What is Chagulanyi telling you? Where is Chagulanyi now? Where is the Kabaka? Where is the Kabaka? You know, their purpose also is to demean any strong organizations, including the Buganda Kingdom. The Kabaka is very powerful in their eyes, and so they want to break that power and dice it up and put it in these prisoners' heads that those people whom they support and strongly stand for do not care for them, because now they're in their hands. Why are they not rescuing them? So let's go through this as fast as I can. Help me. So anyways, legs apart, arms apart, tag the ICC, tag anybody, please. The calf is brought in the room. What they do then, they spill milk from the mother. They go and get milk from the mother that had this calf, bring it and pour the milk on the genitals of this gentleman. Let's talk about one who's right in there now. Pour the milk on them, and then get the calf to come and suck their private parts as if to get milk. If you know how a calf feeds, it is standing on 4 feet. It is not yet firm enough. It can't stand in position stably. A calf keeps kicking. It's excited. I'm getting milk from my mom, because they just poured fresh milk on them. The calf thinks, I am with my mommy right now. I'm getting some milk. I'm getting some milk. In the process, the calf is knocking the pelvis of this gentleman. The pelvis is the bone. I have some medical background. So the calf is hitting on the pelvis of this gentleman. Legs are tied, hands tied, cannot stop the calf. You can't kick it. You can't do anything to get away. These men are right in front of you there, laughing at you, saying, okay, tell us, tell us. This calf comes with all the excitement. And with the rough tongue on somebody's part, I'm not going to say the name, pulling, stretching, the gentleman says he feels like his brains are being pulled out from his parts. The calf is pulling and pulling. They continue to spill more milk. The calf pulls. This gentleman says one of his friends that was before him when he watched, because after this event, your body is on fire. You have cried. You have said everything you can say. You have said your goodbyes. You have said, by the time that person's event is over, they keep pouring more milk. This calf thinks there's milk. And because there's nothing coming, the calf works even harder. It is not standing stably on 4 feet. So it is jumping and jumping and bumping on the pelvis in the front of this human being. It keeps doing that and trying to get milk as they tease the calf by pouring more milk on this gentleman's part. Eventually, they cry and cry until they don't have anything left. Do you know when you cry until you have no more tears to cry? That's the scenario. They don't have any more tears. They've said their goodbyes. They have a gentleman who was the gentleman that this person speaks about, spoke Lusoga and said everything he could say, including saying goodbye to his children, to his wife, to his family, to a point that when they kept telling him that, tell us what you know about Chagulanyi, he began to hallucinate, that he started to talk about something else and started to say things like, who are those people crossing? Who are those people? What's going on over there? If you know anything about somebody who is dying, which I know because I take care of people sometimes like that. When somebody is dying, they begin to hallucinate. They begin to see people. They begin to see children especially. I'm telling you, this experience spans for about 7 to 10 minutes of gruesome torture. With your hands tied, they say everything they can say. this cuff does not stop pulling on the manhood of this person for the longest time, until those people are pleased, until the crying stops, to near death, full of hallucination, confusion, sadness, tired of crying, eyes burning, genitals breaking apart. Then eventually they stop, because all they're doing is laughing about what this gentleman is saying or crying about. Eventually they release you, they untie you, and he says, after that, you are almost unconscious. And maybe some of them are. You drop to the ground with nothing left in you. Guys, these people must go. That is only one of the experiences. I will try to bring and highlight as many experiences as I will get. I will bring you more of those, so that you have it in you. And remember not to lose fuel. Don't forget. I am here, I'm comfortable, but I cannot forget my people. Those people are awful. The fact that they feed Muslims pork as punishment for a crime they didn't even commit. Ugandans, let's do something. These guys are wicked to the max. Wicked to the T. Think about any wickedness that you can imagine. Could you ever think that they'd use an innocent animal to perform such an ugly act? It's awful. But I've learned there's even worse, more gruesome experience. I'll let you know, I'll bring those. But so far, those are the security alerts. Bombing terrorizing parliament. There will be a lot of ammunition. There will be bombings, there will be shootings, there will be killings. And that's mainly targeted towards the outgoing parliament. And then he also wants to start attacking women, killing women gruesomely. I'm talking about raping them with objects. You know, poking them in the eye, poking them in their privates, whatever orifice is open, just sticking stuff in there and dropping them on the street. So that when you see something like that, you can't sleep again. You can't have a word against these people again. That's the goal. They want to make sure that people are not in the streets of Kampala. In fact, there's somebody who came out today and spoke about, what's her name? Kabanda. Talking about decongesting Kampala by the 19th of this month. The purpose of decongesting Kampala is to avoid any uprising, because they know Bobby Wine or His Excellency Kyagulanyi Ssentamu is around, but they just can't get to him. Okay? They know he's around, and they want to decongest Kampala because they're using KCCA, because they don't want Ugandans to regroup on the street. Remember the advice from Robert Amsterdam, the attorney of His Excellency Kyagulanyi Ssentamu, said one of the key things that Ugandans can do is to go into the streets and protest, and then we'll get the attention of the Western world, of everywhere. Okay? That's one of the things that they're afraid of the most. Museveni also knows that likely, he would be a Maduro case in Uganda. Like President Trump did to the Venezuela dictator. He's worried about that. He's worried about that. So watch for events like those. Those women that I know, that there's a lady who was killed, I think last night, and I saw it on social media today. That may be one of them. They may have started on the killings of women like they did in Entebbe. A while ago, there was a lot of young women who were terrorized and killed. You know, the killings are just gruesome, and they'll dump the body so that when you see it, you have fear in your eyes. They want to instill visual fear that will go into your heart and get you cold from acting. That's how they thrive. That's why they did what they did in Luero. That's what they did in Acholi, where I come from. They were killed in ways, in a family of husband and wife and children. These guys would come and rape the father right in front of everybody. With the kid watching, the soldier would take off his pants and rape and sodomize the daddy of the home, so that this daddy is useless before everyone after that. They will kill the daddy and cook the daddy in a pot right in front of the family and tell the family members, eat some soup. This is the same theme that they have. In the next few days, you're going to see a lot of gruesome killings here and there. Don't be afraid. Museveni knows what's chasing him, but doesn't know when it will get him. But it's going to get him, because we are about to be free. We're about to be free. Okay? Thank you so much for your time. I appreciate you being here, and let's stand together. Let's support each other. I'm here. Whatever I can do, I will. Stay strong, especially people in Uganda. Stay very, very, very strong. Stay with us, because we are working on things. We're not done. Oh yeah, we're not done. We will be done when His Excellency Kyagulanyi Ssentamu is in his seat. And he's free now. He's free, and we're working on it. Okay? His Excellency is a brilliant, brilliant, brilliant person. And we know that is going to drive this victory home. Soon. Soon. I am confident. I have never been so positive about Uganda changing. This time, I am. I'm confident. Thank you all so much. Thank you for your time. I will see you again tomorrow. If I have something urgent, I will come back. Okay? Be safe. Stay together. Stick together. Love one another. You know, like I said, that thing about Anita Among, treat it as you will. Treat it as you will. But we also need a testimony one day. But maybe not her. Maybe not her. Okay? Thank you all so much. Have a great rest of your day. Bye-bye.